Alex wiped the sweat from his forehead and shook his head. The control panel in front of him blinked erratically, casting pale green light across the small engineering bay of the ship. He had been working for hours to repair the ship's energy conduits, after a minor storm in the planet's atmosphere had caused a system surge. It was exhausting work, but Alex didn't mind. He liked fixing things, especially when other people said something was impossible. Still, his mind kept drifting to one small problem one he thought was private. Sitting on a narrow table nearby was his journal, open to a page he had written just that morning. Alex had always found writing down his thoughts helped him think clearly. He didn't mean anyone else to read it, but the page in question contained, well, thoughts about Lyra, the alien princess, had been assigned to their mission as a cultural liaison. She was elegant, sharp, and confident, and, well, she had a figure that Alex's human brain sometimes failed to ignore. He had written something silly in his journal about her, but it was meant as a private joke, something only he would see. Nothing serious. He was too focused on finishing the repairs to worry further. Until a shadow fell across the table. Alex, came a voice slow, melodic, and filled with a strange mixture of amusement and irritation. Alex froze. Slowly, he looked up, and there she was. Princess Lyra, standing with arms crossed, her purple eyes sparkling in the soft light of the ship. She was holding his journal. You read this? Alex whispered, heart pounding. I did, Lyra said, tilting her head. And I have a lot of thoughts. Alex's stomach dropped. He wanted to sink into the floor, hide behind the machinery, anywhere. But he was stuck. There was no way to escape. I didn't think anyone would see it, he stammered. I mean, it's private. Just private thoughts. Lyra raised an eyebrow. Private thoughts, huh? She said, smirking. You wrote something very specific. About me. Alex winced. He had to explain. It was, just a joke. I didn't mean anything bad. Do you always write jokes about your companions? Lyra interrupted, walking closer. Because I have to say, this one was. Bold. Alex blinked. That was a word he didn't expect. Bold sounded almost like a compliment. Almost. But he didn't have time to think. Lyra's expression shifted rapidly from amusement to mock seriousness. I think you need to understand human-alien boundaries, she said. A lesson, maybe. Alex's heart raced. A lesson? Yes, Lyra said, tapping the journal with her finger. About respect and consequences for your private thoughts. Alex swallowed hard. He tried to imagine what kind of lesson she might mean. Did she want him to clean the ship for a week? Or perhaps face some sort of alien punishment? He gulped and nodded quickly. Okay, lesson. I understand. Whatever you want. Lyra's lips twitched as she tried not to laugh. Good. For now, we will see what you are made of. Alex wasn't sure if she meant physically or mentally. Probably both. The rest of the crew avoided the engineering bay, sensing the tension between the human and the alien princess. Alex could feel their curious glances, but he ignored them. He had to deal with Lyra first. Lyra leaned closer, her voice dropping slightly. You think you can just write about me and hide behind pages of paper? Humans are strange. Alex's face turned red. I didn't mean any harm. It was private. Just my thoughts. Lyra raised an eyebrow. Private thoughts are dangerous, Alex, especially when they are so personal. Alex nodded rapidly, feeling like he was under interrogation. Yes, I promise I won't do it again. Lyra's expression softened slightly, though her eyes still held that mischievous spark. We'll see. For now, you need to focus. And maybe prove yourself. Alex blinked. Prove myself? Yes, Lyra said, stepping back. There is a small problem on the ship, a minor energy fluctuation in the life support system. You will fix it. Alex felt a surge of relief, a task. Something concrete he could do to take the focus off his embarrassing journal. Okay, I can do that. I'll fix it right away. Lyra nodded once. Good. And Alex? He froze, waiting. Try not to write anymore. Thoughts about me while you work. Alex's cheeks burned, but he managed a small, nervous laugh. Yes, ma'am. For the next hour, Alex worked furiously, checking conduits, recalibrating energy flows, and rerouting power to stabilize the life support system. Sweat dripped down his face, and his fingers ached, but he didn't mind. He couldn't let Lyra think he was incapable. Not now. Meanwhile, Lyra watched silently, leaning against the control panel, arms crossed. She said nothing, but her sharp gaze tracked every move. Alex felt pressure under her eyes, but it pushed him to focus harder. Finally, with a quiet hum, the system stabilized. Green lights glowed steadily, and the life support readout returned to normal. Alex wiped his forehead again and let out a long sigh. Done, he said, stepping back. Lyra stepped forward, inspecting the readouts herself. She nodded slowly, almost thoughtfully. Impressive. Humans. You have ways I did not expect. Alex blinked, surprised. You mean I did good? Lyra smirked. You did. But don't get cocky. You are still a human. Still. Unpredictable. Alex swallowed, unsure if he should be proud or nervous. Thank you, Princess Lyra. She tilted her head, considering him. Perhaps. We can start over. But remember, Alex. I know your thoughts. Alex froze again. You mean all of them? Lyra's smile widened, teasing him. Maybe not all, but some thoughts. Very dangerous ones. Alex groaned inwardly. This was going to be a long mission. He had to remember to keep his journal locked or maybe hide it in another dimension entirely. But despite his embarrassment, he couldn't deny something strange. Lyra's eyes held more than anger. There was a hint of amusement, curiosity, even interest. He shook his head. Focus, Alex. Focus on the ship. That's all that matters. Later, as he returned to his private quarters, Alex sat down at his small desk. He opened the journal cautiously, half expecting to see a note from Lyra telling him off. Instead, there was a small folded piece of alien paper tucked into the pages. He unfolded a carefully dotted reed, in neat handwriting. Interesting, human. Perhaps you are more than you seem. We will see. Alex stared at it, unsure whether to laugh, panic, or faint. This was Lyra's version of a message. A warning, or maybe a challenge. He sighed, leaning back in his chair. One thing was clear. This mission just became far more complicated and far more interesting. From that moment, Alex knew two things for certain. 1. He needed to be extremely careful with his journal. And 2. He was strangely curious about what Lyra would do next. The accidental reading of his private thoughts had started something new. Something unexpected. Something that could either end in disaster or adventure. And in the strange, vast expanse of space, Alex realized he didn't mind either way. The engineering bay hummed softly, the lights casting long shadows along the walls. Alex was double-checking the ship's conduits, but he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He glanced over his shoulder and saw Lyra leaning against a railing, her arms crossed, eyes fixed on him with a faint smirk. Alex's stomach twisted. Ever since the journal incident, Lyra had been treating him differently. Not cold, not exactly angry, but with a strange mix of curiosity, amusement, and he hated to admit it, intimidation. You're taking your job very seriously, Lyra said, stepping closer. Even now, when you could be hiding somewhere, I want everything to work properly, Alex said, trying to sound confident. Life support is important, and the crew relies on me. Lyra tilted her head, her smile widening. Oh, I'm sure they do. But I'm more curious about you. That human who writes embarrassing thoughts in secret journals. Alex's face turned red. I don't write about anything harmful. Just observations. For personal use. Lyra raised an eyebrow. Observations, huh? I saw one. About me. Alex groaned inwardly. I know. I said sorry. I didn't think you would read it. Lyra took a step closer, circling him slowly, like a predator inspecting prey. I like honesty, she said softly, even. Risky honesty. Alex blinked, unsure whether to be terrified or flattered. Oh, thanks. I think. Lyra laughed lightly. Don't think. Just do. Alex's heart raced. He tried to concentrate on the controls, but every word from Lyra distracted him. He almost tripped over a loose cable. Careful, Lyra teased. Humans are fragile, but you seem more resilient than I expected. Alex flushed. I can handle myself. Lyra's smirk widened. We'll see. The tension between them was strange, almost playful, yet charged with unspoken challenge. Alex had never met anyone like Lyra before. She was intelligent, confident, and beautiful in a way that made him nervous and curious at the same time. Then, an alarm sounded, a sharp, piercing tone that made Alex jump. Energy fluctuation detected in Sector 3. The ship's computer announced. Alex's eyes widened. No, not now. Lyra's expression shifted, her eyes narrowing. Looks like you have a test after all. Don't disappoint me, human. Alex ran toward the affected sector, tools clanging in his hands. Lyra followed, moving with unexpected grace, her presence both comforting and intimidating. When he reached the panel, he saw the problem immediately. The energy conduits were misaligned, sending unstable currents toward the life support system. One wrong move, and the system could fail, endangering everyone aboard. Alex swallowed hard. He had to act fast. Can I help? Lyra asked, stepping beside him. Alex hesitated. I think I can handle this, but thanks. Lyra nodded but stayed close, watching his every move. Alex's fingers worked quickly, reconnecting conduits, stabilizing the currents, recalibrating the power flow. Sweat dripped down his forehead, but he ignored it. This was serious. Lives were at stake. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, with a steady hum, the energy flow normalized. The alarm stopped. Alex exhaled, relief flooding through him. Done. Sector 3 is stable. Lyra examined the panel herself. Then, without a word, she turned to him and smiled faintly. You did well, she said. Humans, you have skills I did not expect. Alex blinked. You mean, I did good? Lyra nodded. Yes, good, but don't get too confident. This is only one test. Many more will come. Alex nodded, still catching his breath. I understand. Thank you, Princess Lyra. She studied him quietly, then finally spoke. Curious human. You handle pressure well. I may have underestimated you. Alex felt a strange mix of pride and embarrassment. Lyra's approval mattered to him more than he cared to admit. Later, when the immediate tension had passed, Lyra led Alex to a quieter part of the ship. I want to show you something, she said. Her tone lighter now. Not a lesson, yet just something to keep your mind busy. Alex followed her, curious. They reached a small observation deck. Outside, the planet stretched beneath them, vast and vibrant. Cities glowed faintly in the distance. Forests swirled in green patterns, and rivers shimmered under the alien sun. It's beautiful, Alex whispered. Stepping closer to the glass dot, Lyra leaned beside him, watching the view. Yes, but the beauty can be dangerous if you don't understand it. Alex glanced at her. What do you mean? Lyra smirked. I mean, there are challenges here, tests, and I like to see how humans react under pressure. Alex swallowed. You want me to take more tests? Lyra shrugged. Perhaps. Perhaps not. It depends on how entertaining you are. Alex groaned inwardly. He had barely survived one test. Did she plan to give him more? And what did she mean by entertaining? Lyra laughed softly at his expression. Relax, human. I am not cruel, yet, but you will have to prove yourself again soon. Alex nodded, unsure whether to be relieved or terrified. I'll do my best. Lyra studied him a moment longer. Then, her tone softened slightly. You are honest. That is rare among humans I have met, even. Admirable. Alex's face heated. Thank you. I try my best. She leaned closer, her voice a whisper. Be careful, Alex. Curiosity and honesty can be dangerous, but sometimes they can also be your greatest strengths. Alex felt a strange warmth at her words. Lyra's presence was overwhelming, but not in a frightening way, more like a puzzle he wanted to understand. As the day continued, Alex tried to focus on his work, but Lyra's teasing presence followed him everywhere. She asked questions about the ship, the crew, and human customs. often slipping in playful jabs about his private thoughts. At one point, she stopped him while he was fixing a panel. "Alex," she said, her voice calm but mischievous. "Do humans always write about what they admire in secret? Or is it just your journal?" Alex's ears turned red. I don't know. Some of us do. Sometimes. It's private, though. I never meant for anyone to see it." Lyra laughed softly. "I know. That's why it was so amusing." Alex groaned. "Amusing. Right." Despite his embarrassment, Alex couldn't help but notice that their interactions were growing easier. Lyra wasn't angry anymore. Her teasing was playful, and he began to feel a strange sense of camaraderie forming between them. By evening, the ship's systems were stable, and the crew had gathered for dinner. Lyra joined them, still giving Alex occasional glances that made his heart race. During the meal, she leaned over slightly and whispered, "You survived your first test. I wonder what the next one will be like." Alex swallowed nervously, unsure whether to be thrilled or terrified. As he went to bed that night, he opened his journal again. His fingers hovered over the pages. He wanted to write, but he also wanted to be careful. Lyra knew he had written something embarrassing. After a moment, he decided to write anyway, but this time, he added a note for himself. "Humans can handle pressure, but never underestimate an alien princess with a mischievous streak." He smiled faintly, closing the journal. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, tests, teasing, and perhaps a strange new bond he didn't fully understand yet. But Alex was ready. In the vastness of space, amidst strange planets and intelligent aliens, he realized one thing clearly: life was never going to be boring again, and somehow, he didn't mind at all. The alien city spread out before them, shining under the light of 3 suns. Its towers were tall and curved, colored with shimmering metals that reflected soft purples and blues. The streets were alive with movement, strange alien creatures moving gracefully, trading goods, laughing, and performing intricate dances. The smells, colors, and sounds were overwhelming for Alex, who had never seen anything like it before. Lyra walked beside him, elegant and confident as ever. She seemed at home in the city, as if every street and building obeyed her command. Alex tried to keep up, his human legs tiring quickly from all the walking. "Slow down, Alex," Lyra said, glancing at him. "You are not used to the streets yet. Humans are slower than most species here." Alex wiped sweat from his forehead. "I'm fine, just... It's a lot to take in," Lyra smirked. "You will need to take in everything. The city is full of lessons." Alex frowned. "Lessons? What kind of lessons?" Lyra's smile widened, hinting at mischief. "The kind that will test your mind, your courage, and perhaps your dignity." Alex groaned inwardly. He had survived the engineering crisis, but now he had to survive a city test. His thoughts immediately went to the journal incident. He didn't want more embarrassment. Lyra led him through the streets, stopping at a square where a crowd had gathered. In the center, several aliens were competing in a game that looked like a combination of athletic skill and puzzle solving. They jumped from platforms, moved quickly, and used strange devices to complete the challenges. Lyra turned to Alex. "This is the first test. You will participate. Humans are strong and clever. Let's see if that is true." Alex swallowed nervously. I don't know how to play this." Lyra tilted her head. "That is part of the challenge. Observe, learn, and adapt. That is what humans do best." Before Alex could protest, Lyra handed him a small device that looked like a handheld puzzle with shifting panels. "Your task is to get the device from one platform to another across the square, without dropping it or breaking it. Sounds easy?" Alex shook his head. "No, not easy." Lyra laughed softly. "Exactly. Start." Alex took a deep breath and focused. The crowd of aliens watched silently, curious to see the human's skill. He moved carefully, stepping onto the first platform. The ground shifted slightly under his weight, testing his balance. He adjusted quickly, gripping the device tightly. A small alien child giggled from the edge of the square. "Human is slow," it shouted, pointing at Alex. Alex flushed but ignored the comment. He concentrated, focusing on the shifting platforms, the strange gravity, and the timing of his steps. Lyra's eyes followed him, sharp and calculating. But there was a hint of amusement in them too. Halfway across the square, a platform tilted unexpectedly, sending the device sliding slightly. Alex lunged, catching it just in time. The crowd gasped. Lyra's smile widened. Impressive reflexes, she whispered. Not bad for a human. Alex blushed. Thanks. I think. He continued carefully, moving platform to platform, his mind racing. Each step required concentration, and he had to think quickly to solve the shifting puzzles on the device. Sweat dripped down his face, and his legs burned, but he kept going. Finally, he reached the last platform and set the device down carefully. It clicked into place, completing the challenge. The crowd erupted in quiet applause, and Lyra's eyes sparkled with approval. Well done, Alex. You survived the first challenge. That is more than I expected. Alex exhaled, relieved. I did it? Lyra nodded. Yes, but this is only the beginning. Before Alex could catch his breath, Lyra grabbed his arm. Come, there's a second challenge. Alex groaned inwardly. Second, already? Lyra's smile was wickedly playful. Yes, humans can handle more than they think. Let's see how clever you really are. She led him through narrow streets to a courtyard filled with strange, glowing plants. The plants moved slightly, reacting to sound and touch. A series of small puzzles were arranged throughout the courtyard, each requiring a mix of logic, speed, and observation. The task, Lyra explained, is to retrieve the 3 glowing crystals hidden among these plants. Each crystal has a different color and weight. Only by using your intelligence and agility can you get them all. Alex looked at the moving plants nervously. These plants, they look alive. Lyra smirked. They are. Be careful. One wrong step, and the crystal could disappear, or worse, the plant could block your way. Alex took a deep breath and started. He moved slowly, watching the plants, figuring out their patterns. One plant stretched a vine toward him, and he ducked just in time. Another crystal glowed faintly on a high branch, requiring him to jump carefully and climb without slipping. Lyra watched silently, occasionally whispering hints. Left and now. Carefully, her guidance was subtle but effective, showing her trust in him without giving away the answers. Alex's heart raced as he moved through the courtyard. Each crystal he retrieved made him more confident. The plants were tricky, but he used human ingenuity, sliding, jumping, and timing his movements perfectly. Finally, he held the last crystal in his hands. He had completed the second challenge. Lyra clapped lightly, clearly pleased. You are more capable than I imagined, she said. Perhaps humans are not as weak as many believe. Alex smiled, tired but proud. Thanks, I guess humans are just adaptable. Lyra tilted her head. Yes, adaptable. And resilient. I like that. They walked together toward the city center. The sun's casting long shadows across the streets. Alex's muscles ached, but he felt a strange thrill. He had survived the challenges in a city full of alien tricks. More importantly, Lyra's teasing presence had changed. She wasn't mocking him anymore. She was watching him with interest, curiosity, and perhaps admiration. As they reached a quiet terrace, Lyra turned to him. You survived the challenges, Alex. But now, there's one final test for today. Alex groaned. One final? Lyra held up a small device, similar to the puzzle from the first challenge, but much more complex. This is a combination of all the skills you've learned today: agility, observation, logic, and courage. Complete this, and you will earn my respect. Officially, Alex studied the device carefully. It had multiple moving parts, lights that blinked in complex patterns, and strange symbols he had never seen before. He took a deep breath. Okay, he said to himself. Focus, you can do this. He moved his hands over the device, observing the blinking lights and patterns. Slowly, methodically, he began to solve the puzzle. The first few steps were tricky, but his previous experience with the other challenges helped him. He learned the timing, adjusted to the patterns, and relied on instinct. Lyra watched closely, impressed by his determination and focus. Not bad, she said quietly. You are learning quickly. Alex's heart raced as he reached the final sequence. He paused for a moment, then pushed the last button. The device clicked, and a soft chime rang out. The puzzle was complete. Lyra clapped, genuinely smiling now. Excellent, Alex. You have done well. More than well. You have shown skill, patience, and courage. All qualities that humans are said to lack in this city. Alex exhaled, exhausted but proud. I did it? Really? Lyra nodded. Yes, and for that, I admit, you have earned my respect. Alex's cheeks warmed. Thank you. Princess Lyra, she smirked playfully. Don't get used to praise, human. But you are intriguing. I want to see more of what you can do. Alex realized something strange. Despite the teasing, the embarrassment, and the challenges, he felt a connection forming with Lyra. She respected him now not for his size, strength, or alien knowledge, but for his determination, cleverness, and honesty. That night, as they returned to the ship, Alex sat quietly in his quarters, thinking about the day's events. The city had tested him, pushed him, and embarrassed him a little, but it had also shown him that humans could thrive even in alien worlds. He opened his journal, flipping to a blank page. He wanted to write about the challenges, the plants, the puzzles, and about Lyra. Carefully, he began. Today was incredible. Alien cities, moving plants, strange puzzles. And Princess Lyra is even more mysterious than I thought. She respects skill and courage, but she enjoys teasing. And I might enjoy trying to impress her. Humans are adaptable. And I think maybe that is why I survived today. Alex smiled faintly and closed the journal. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new tests, and perhaps a deeper understanding of the alien princess who had read his private thoughts. One thing was clear. Life was never boring in this city, and somehow Alex didn't mind at all. The morning sun rose over the alien city, painting the towers in shades of gold and violet. Alex stretched, trying to loosen the stiffness in his legs from the previous day's challenges. The memory of the moving plants, the puzzles, and Lyra's teasing smile lingered in his mind. He had survived the tests, earned her respect, and somehow found himself thinking about her far more than he should. Lyra appeared at the doorway of his quarters, her movements graceful as always. She smiled faintly, a rare gentleness in her eyes. "Good morning, human," she said. "Are you ready for today's adventure?" Alex blinked. Adventure? I thought we were done with tests. Lyra shook her head, amusement in her eyes. Tests are over. For now. Today is about trust and understanding. You have proven skill. Now it is time to see how humans connect. Alex felt a mix of relief and curiosity. He followed Lyra through the streets, observing the city in a new light. Today, it felt less like a challenge and more like an exploration. He noticed small details he had missed before: the subtle architecture, the way aliens move with elegance, and the tiny market stalls with glowing fruits that hummed faintly. Lyra led him to a quiet garden outside the city walls. Strange, tall, plants swayed without wind, and pools of sparkling water reflected the suns above. The garden seemed peaceful, almost magical. This is a place for reflection, Lyra explained. Few come here, even fewer understand its value. Alex glanced around, amazed. It's beautiful and quiet. I like it. Lyra nodded, sitting on a smooth stone bench. Humans have courage and intelligence, but often, your emotional understanding is different. This garden helps focus the mind and heart. Tell me, what is important to you? Alex hesitated. He had never been asked such a personal question by anyone, let alone an alien princess who could have judged him harshly. But her gentle tone made it easier. I want to help people, he said slowly. Humans are far from perfect, but we try. I like fixing things, helping others, and learning from new experiences. Lyra studied him carefully. Honesty. Yes, I see it in you. I see why others trust humans. You act with integrity, even when it is difficult. Alex smiled faintly. Thanks. I've tried my best. Lyra's gaze softened. You are admirable, Alex, more than I expected, and that is rare. Alex felt warmth in his chest. He didn't fully understand it, but her words mattered. Not teasing, not testing, just honest acknowledgement. before he could respond. A sudden alarm echoed through the city. Red lights flashed in the distance. Lyra's expression hardened instantly. "Trouble," she said. "A rival faction has arrived. They seek to capture parts of the city, including me. We must act." Alex's heart raced. This was real danger, not playful tests or puzzles. "What can I do?" he asked. Lyra glanced at him, her eyes sharp. "You will help protect the city. Use your human ingenuity." "I trust you can adapt quickly." Alex nodded. "Okay, let's do this." They ran through the streets to the city's central plaza, where a group of hostile aliens had begun attacking. The aliens were faster and stronger, but not clever. Lyra coordinated the city defenders. Issuing commands with precision, Alex scanned the environment, quickly analyzing weak points, escape routes, and potential traps. Using human problem-solving skills, Alex began improvising defenses. He took pieces of discarded technology and combined them with alien devices, creating temporary barriers and energy diversions. The attackers were confused by the unexpected setups. Slowing their advance, Lyra noticed his actions and raised an eyebrow. Humans think differently. Clever. Alex moved quickly, helping city defenders reposition, stabilizing energy shields, and even redirecting small energy pulses to slow the attackers. His mind worked faster than his hands, calculating, predicting, and adapting. One of the attackers lunged toward Lyra. Without thinking, Alex threw a nearby energy module, creating a barrier that blocked the strike just in time. Lyra nodded at him, impressed. Resourceful, she whispered. The battle continued, and Alex realized he had found a rhythm. Humans were small and seemingly fragile, but his adaptability, quick thinking, and courage made him effective. He wasn't just helping Lyra, he was helping the city survive. Finally, with a combination of human ingenuity and alien coordination, the attackers were repelled. The plaza was chaotic, but the city stood strong. Civilians cheered, and Lyra's eyes shone with respect. "Alex," she said, approaching him, "you have proven more than skill. You have shown bravery and quick thinking under real threat. Few could do what you did today." Alex exhaled, exhausted but proud. I just did what needed to be done." Lyra smiled faintly. "That is human courage. That is why I respect your kind. And you have earned my trust." Alex blinked, not expecting such a statement. "Trust? From you?" "Yes," Lyra said. "You are honest, brave, and clever. These are qualities that matter in times of danger. I see why humans survive even in harsh situations." Alex felt a strange mix of pride and humility. He had never expected an alien princess to trust him so fully, and yet he felt it. A bond was forming between them, built on shared experiences, challenges, and now survival. Later, after the city was secured, Lyra led Alex to a quiet terrace overlooking the city. The suns were setting, casting long shadows and bathing the buildings in golden light. "You were impressive today, Alex," Lyra said, her voice softer now. "You did not falter. You thought quickly, adapted, and even helped others. Few humans could have done that." Alex smiled faintly. "I just did what I had to. I didn't want anyone hurt." Lyra nodded. "And that is why you succeeded. Courage, intelligence, and care. These are qualities I admire. You are more than just a human who writes silly journals." Alex chuckled nervously. "I hope my journal doesn't ruin that impression." Lyra laughed softly. "No, human. That was bemusing. But you are more than words on a page today. You showed your true worth." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. The teasing, the challenges, the embarrassment, they all seemed to matter less now. What mattered was Lyra's acknowledgement, her respect, and the strange connection forming between them. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the city. The battle was over, the city was safe, and the stars began to appear in the twilight sky. Alex realized something important. Humans were small, seemingly fragile, but clever, adaptable, and courageous, and in Lyra's eyes, that mattered. I want to thank you, Princess," Alex said quietly, "for trusting me, for everything today." Lyra turned to him, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then, A small smile appeared. You earned it, Alex. Humans are surprising. I see now why they survive and thrive. And I am glad you are here. Alex felt a strange mix of relief and happiness. He didn't fully understand the bond forming, but he knew it was real. As night fell, they returned to the ship together. Alex entered his quarters and opened his journal. He began writing, carefully recounting the day's events, the challenges, and the battle. But this time, he also wrote about Lyra, the respect in her eyes, the subtle smile, and the trust she had placed in him. Today was incredible. Not just the city, the puzzles, or the plants, but the bond we formed. I proved myself, and she trusted me. Humans can adapt, think, and survive, even in alien worlds, and somehow, that matters to her. Maybe, just maybe, I am beginning to understand what it means to connect, even across worlds. He closed the journal, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The day had tested him in ways he never expected. But more importantly, he had gained something far more valuable than success in challenges or cleverness in battle. He had gained trust, respect, and the beginning of a deep bond with someone extraordinary. And Alex knew, without a doubt, that tomorrow would bring new adventures, challenges, and perhaps even deeper understanding. Life among aliens was never simple, but it was never boring. And somehow, Alex realized he didn't want it to be. The stars sparkled brightly above the alien city as the ship prepared to depart. Alex stood on the observation deck, watching the bustling streets far below. The city had survived the recent attack, the rival faction was gone, and the alien citizens had begun repairing the minor damages. But even in this quiet moment, Alex's mind buzzed with thoughts of the challenges, the adventures, and most of all, of Lyra. Lyra approached him quietly, her steps light, almost imperceptible. She leaned against the railing beside him, eyes fixed on the distant city lights. For a moment, neither spoke. The hum of the ship's engines was the only sound. Finally, Lyra broke the silence. You have done well, Alex, not just with the challenges or the battle, but in earning trust, and courage, and perhaps something more. Alex swallowed nervously. Something more? Lyra turned to him, her expression playful yet sincere. Yes, humans are complicated. You think quickly, act bravely, and yet you are honest in ways that many fail to be. That is rare, even among your kind. Alex felt his face grow warm. He had never received such direct praise, and it was strange, exciting, and terrifying all at once. I just tried to do what was right, he said quietly. I didn't expect, well, anything. Lyra's smirk softened into a small, genuine smile. You never seek praise. That is what makes your actions impressive. And human honesty is. Fascinating. Alex looked down, unsure how to respond. But before he could fumble for words, Lyra's voice became mischievous. And now, about your journal. Alex froze. My journal? Lyra held it up with a teasing smile. Yes, the one with personal thoughts about me. Alex groaned inwardly. Oh no, please don't. Lyra laughed softly. Relax, Alex. I have read it, and I admit, it was entertaining. Very entertaining. Alex's eyes widened. Entertaining? You're not angry? Lyra shook her head. No, not angry. Amused, perhaps. Curious, certainly. And maybe a little flattered. Alex blinked. Flattered? Lyra tilted her head, smiling. Yes, you are honest in ways that are rare. Humans often hide their thoughts. You do not. That is both amusing and admirable. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. The embarrassment of being caught in his private thoughts melted away, replaced by something new, respect and understanding. I didn't mean any harm, Alex said quietly. I just wrote what I observed. Lyra's eyes softened. I know, and it matters little now. What matters is, you are brave, clever, and honest. You have my trust. Alex nodded, unsure if he could put his feelings into words. But he didn't need to. Lyra's presence said it all. The ship's engines hummed louder as it prepared for departure. Alex and Lyra stood side by side, looking down at the city that had tested him, taught him, and now respected him. "You have done more than survive, Alex," Lyra said. "You have shown the value of humanity to my people. You have proven what humans can do when they are clever, courageous, and honest." "That is rare," Alex smiled faintly. I never thought humans could make such an impact here." Lyra's smirk returned, playful once more. "Perhaps you underestimated yourselves. But I did not. I saw it in you from the start. You are remarkable." Alex laughed nervously. "You think I'm remarkable?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, and that. Human is a compliment." Alex felt a mixture of pride, embarrassment, and happiness. The teasing, the challenges, and the dangers had all led to this moment-to-moment of mutual respect, understanding, and perhaps something more. As the ship lifted off, Lyra and Alex watched the city shrink below them, the lights shimmering like tiny stars. The bond between them had grown stronger, built on honesty, courage, and shared experiences. Lyra leaned slightly closer. "Tell me, human, will you continue to write in your journal?" Alex chuckled softly. "I think so. But maybe now I'll be more careful." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Careful or selective?" Alex smiled. "Selective. Only for things that matter." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Good. Humans can surprise me. That is enjoyable." They fell into a comfortable silence, watching the stars streak by as the ship traveled through space. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He had faced challenges, solved puzzles, survived danger, and gained the respect of an alien princess. And in doing so, he had learned something important about himself. Humans were clever, adaptable, and capable of much more than they often realized. But more than that, he had learned about connection, trust, and understanding even across species. And that mattered. Later, Alex returned to his quarters, opening his journal one last time. He began writing, his thoughts flowing freely. "Today was extraordinary. I faced challenges, danger, and embarrassment, but I survived. And more than that, I learned that honesty, courage, and adaptability matter. Humans are capable of so much. And Princess Lyra, she respects me. She trusts me. Maybe she even understands me. Life in space is strange and unpredictable, but I am ready for it. And somehow, I am glad." He closed the journal and smiled faintly. Tomorrow would bring new adventures, new challenges, and new lessons. But for now, he felt content. As he looked out the observation window one last time, Lyra appeared behind him, her expression playful. "You think you can impress me, human?" she asked softly. Alex turned, smiling. "I'll try." Lyra laughed softly. "Good. I hope you do. Humans are unpredictable, but that is why I find them fascinating." Alex felt a warm glow inside. The teasing, the laughter, the challenges, it had all led to this moment of mutual understanding. He realized that humans were more than small, fragile creatures in a vast galaxy. They were clever, brave, and capable of forming bonds that could cross worlds. And Princess Lyra, he said quietly, "You are remarkable too." Lyra tilted her head, studying him carefully. Then she smiled, a small, genuine smile that made Alex's chest tighten. "Perhaps, human," she said softly, "and perhaps I will see what else you can do." The ship drifted through the stars, carrying Alex and Lyra forward into the unknown. Ahead lay new planets, new species, and new challenges. But for the first time, Alex felt confident, not just because of his skills or courage, but because of the bond he had formed, a bond that transcended planets, species, and even the mistakes of a silly journal. And somehow, Alex knew that no matter what the galaxy threw at him next, he would face it with honesty, courage, and cleverness. And perhaps, with Lyra by his side, he took a deep breath, looking out at the infinite stars. Life in the galaxy was unpredictable, strange, and sometimes dangerous. But it was also full of wonder, discovery, and connection. And Alex was ready for it all. As the ship sailed silently through the void, Alex closed his eyes for a moment and smiled. The adventure was far from over. But for now, He was exactly where he belonged, human. Brave, clever, and ready for whatever the universe had in store, and somewhere behind him. Lyra's quiet laughter reminded him that life could be playful. Even in the vastness of space. For Alex, the journey had only just begun.